is part 2 of this programming project I'm sharing, and I'm just, as I work, I just talk, and I'm just going to share my screen. And also for my amusement and for your amusement, and also just because it's a really cool vibe, I have this scenic train ride from Bergen to Oslo going over here. It's, as I talk, sometimes the things I talk about, because partly because I'm not an educator and I'm not laying things out, in a really slow way. Although I speak slowly and I hope I speak clearly, but I'm just doing what I'm doing and I'm talking to you as I do that. So this gives you a sense of, I guess, what it's like to be me, of my process, and where I'm headed, and it just going to be like an hour or so. So, you can just watch the train. Sometimes it makes noise, people talk. There's a little bell that goes off when you hit a station, something like that. So, anyway, what I figured out last time was I have the image loaded up onto into this hex dump, right? When I say hex, this is hexadecimal, so it's 16 digits instead of 10 digits, right? And that's how computers store stuff. And you'll notice a couple things. You'll notice that it starts out with Baba. For some reason it says Baba 0003, right? That's the first 8 characters. And really what that's to say is that it's going to skip 3 of these lines, or the first 3 of these lines are going to be a different message. That's what I sort of decided last time, that all of this is the image in JPEG format, and that you have metadata, like the name of the file, where it's from, stuff like that, all the stuff that it's nice to share. And so I'm going to stick that at the beginning, and it's going to take up a certain number of lines, and a line is 32 of these. So really it's called, I guess, 16, I don't know, duples or whatever they call it, right? But that's, it always comes in twos. The hex comes in twos, which gives you 60, or gives you 256, right? 16 times 16 is 256. That's what FF is. And that's the real beginning of the file. So, so I'm adding stuff to the beginning, and I'm creating a little way to mark that. Now, what I did was I did it kind of in a different way, just because this is my process. It's how I think about things. Sometimes I move from this JavaScript format to another format, and I code things differently. In this, I just kind of hacked it out on the shell. So this is my message. It's HTML, and it's just the name of stuff. And I transformed it into hex, into these little blocks. And so each of these is just 32 bits, or 32 characters. And so I'm saying, okay, it's however many lines, right? Let's see how that goes. You see, now also I have padded it at the end here, right, with a bunch of zeros. So, one thing I often do when I have something big like this, I will redirect it to this. And this is shell, this is bash. I'm working in on a website that I just happen to have. So that dollar sign is just a number. It's a oh, we're approaching the station. Let's take a look. Doesn't look like it though, does it? So anyway, all of that's in a file now. I can say, okay, how many lines is it? See, I like this format because it's easy to, because I have a lot of tricks from my days in the world of Unix, and I can think in real time. And I think that that's ultimately what everybody wants to get to. They want to get to a free place where you can just think and express yourself with code. And so this is, I want the number of lines. So WC is word count. Minus C is actually character, but I don't want the characters. I want the lines. So that's 11. Now, 11 in hex is B. Because it goes 9 is 9, right? 10 is A, and then 11 is B. So really, this would say Baba B. To say 11 lines. And by the way, with these 4 digits, this is able to express, it's able to say far more lines than than is going to be needed. So perhaps I should say characters instead. Perhaps I should just change that. And again, this is kind of why thinking on the fly. That might be more useful because after all I have padded this with extra ones which you might want to discard. And let's just take a look here while we're at the station. I do hope that, you know, that this is something that people can just watch. And because, you know, if you watch a couple of these, you can begin to learn all sorts of stuff. But what you're watching is me sort of fiddling around with the format. So, okay. So now I have this file, let's call it, right, that, and I'm going to say now, okay, just take off all of this, and I want to know how many characters that is. $343. So I guess it's time for me to bring this over into JavaScript anyway. After all, nobody but me is going to want to deal with this. So that was just kind of how I visualize stuff to begin with. So all right, so we've got. This is the data I'm trying to add. All sorts of kind of tricks there. And of course, you know, in the world of a web. In the world of a nice web solution, you're going to be prompted for all this or have a chance to type it in, or it will be created for you. But here in this back-end world, I'm just kind of building stuff as we go. and so it's all very it's all very basic. So I'm just gonna say description for description, and in JavaScript there's three kinds of quotes: single quote, double quote, and this backtick. So you see now when it parrots it back to me, it's got double quotes around it. So see, I've set this right. F, that's the thing, right? So now in this, now I get to say, okay, how would I convert this? And I have a command called string to hex, right? So as a string to hex, and I parse this. Part of this was I'm working on this string to hex function, and so whenever I'm working on something, I always want kind of an external point of reference, or I don't know. So that's why I did it this way. Let's see if string to hex is telling me pretty much the same thing. Now it puts an OX at the beginning, but other than that, it looks like it's the same stuff, right? 3C 6120, right? All that. Okay, so and sure, it ends in 613E. Yep. See, okay, so I got all that in there now. So here we'll do. Probably don't need the shell, other than we can, I don't know, do something to fill up this little space here and make it look kind of cool. We can do something like that. Make the font small. I don't know. Just kind of computer stuff to look at. anyway, all right. So, so now let's see what I want to do. Now I've decided that I want to actually express the number of not single characters here, but these words, and this is, I guess this is a byte, maybe, I don't know. But so if I say dot length, let's see if that does it. It does. 334, and I think that's the same thing I saw before. Now, I want, that needs to be in hex too, because hex is going to be more compact, and I have these little functions called ip and pi, and they're the reverse of each other. So if I say, if you just type it out without these parentheses or any parameters behind it, instead of calling the function, it shows it to you. So this is what I'm calling f.pi, which is parse int. Which converts 16. So this converts hex into decimal, Oops. And the opposite converts decimal into hex, right? It's pretty scenery over there. Yeah, so this is yeah, two string. See, it's hard for me to there's little commands like these I use all the time, but it's hard for me to remember exactly because I don't have a context. So I just make up stuff. And I was part of a big programming team. We'd have some sort of standards, I suspect. But anyway, that's how I turn stuff into hex. And so that's really the number I want. 14E. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say, instead of 3, I'm changing it. I'm changing my rules. So 14E. And like I say, even with characters, that's never gonna fill up that 4-digit space. I do realize something else though, that actually I want half of this. Using the right one. Okay, so yeah. So A7. That's what I would put in there. A7. So right here, instead of 3, I'm going to say A7. So again, what I'm saying here is this is going to be, if someone were to see this thing and they were like scanning through the ledger and they saw that one block is, 10 times larger than all of the blocks around them, then they may say, oh, I wonder why. Oh, look, it's this transaction. Look, it has all these lines and lines and lines of hex in it. I wonder what it means. Well, the first thing they might see is this, and then that might be a clue to them. And like I say, since it's going to be padded, out, there'd be some other clues that this is the beginning, and then sure enough, if you read it, it's a description of what's to follow. So you're going to break this into 2 segments. So first part is the description of this guy, and then the next is it itself. And that's what this F dot P1 and P2 is. It's kind of a stand-in for that. Right, it's just emptiness right now. So but the trick is that I'm going to have to do a little bit of work here. So why don't I make a new function? I'm going to say again, I accidentally took some pictures. So we're going to say string to padded. String to padded. There we go. And what that means is I'm going to call string to hex, and then whatever I pass in, I'm going to call string. So I'm going to say that that we're gonna do f utils string to hex on string, and we'll call that hex. All right, and then I might just say this. We're gonna gotta cut that first chunk off too. Oops. Made some typo here. Oh. I needed to call this as a function, and yeah, I'm not sure why that failed. Let's try just without this for now. Okay, so it seemed like it like that. Now if I add the it's gotta, yeah, so if I just do that, see, then this is my new function I'm working on, right? Still has some problems, of course. And this is what it's like. You just kind of go through it. You know, if I was, I guess, 3 times faster, yeah, I don't think it would matter, because I'm doing things that I'm doing the thing that needs to get done, and nobody else is doing anything remotely like what I'm doing, as far as I can tell. And so you guys just gotta kind of wait around and or watch what I do and copy me, right? So let's see, why would it say uncaught type error? Oh, I see. It's because f.util. So I organize my commands in these little arrays, right? So f is an array, and that shows what's in f. And if you look here, you'll see what's in f. I have all sorts of contracts, and as I work, stuff sort of gets messy, and then I clean it up, and it gets messy again, and I clean it up again. And this is the reality of how things work. Often you're shown an idealized world, which looks beautiful but is not at all functional. Like here, this is part of the crypto stuff. This ABI. The ABI works with these smart contracts, and then but I'm not using my smart contracts right now. I'm just going to use Wallet 1 Anyway, see, but I had a little kind of grouping called utils, which was another array below that one, and that's where string to hex is, and hello there, that's where string to padded is going to be. And maybe this string to stuff isn't the best naming convention. I don't know, but anyway, I forgot my S. That was the mistake I made. So there you go. So now, if we call this, yeah, see it works. And then I just go back. And I did that with the up arrow key, right? And so now, in this space, and bear in mind, I'm not using any tools. Now, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to write my function to the website. But eventually, a function like this is just going to go into the crypto. So you would be able to do everything from this console. And then in fact, and then you can add links, because this is like the web part that you're used to seeing. This part over here is only visible because I made it visible by saying inspect. But that's where I work, right? I always work in the really simple back-end places. The tools, I just don't think that programmers do great work based on some sort of tool. It's not like a good programmer is going to be coding 8 hours a day until their hands get tendinitis and using, all these tools, and especially if I have to use the mouse all the time. But I do type pretty fast, and I code, just into this. So what I want to do is kind of mess with this. I want to take that little X off that part there. It's something that you add to say you're in hex. So rather than rebuild this without it, I'm just gonna say, I can say substring to, I think is what I had there. And see, so now it's in the console and it doesn't have VOX there. And this is all I do. I just chip away at things. I type a little bit and then I run the thing and look at it. Again, I know all of there's a lot of patterns out there. Patterns, I call it. But that's not really me. So now, instead of sending this to the console log, I'm going to take yet another accidental picture. I'm going to say, I'm going to do something else with this. I think I'm going to put it into a loop. No, I'm not. I'm going to say, I'm going to get the length, right? Basically, this is some of the stuff that I got before. Okay. And see how it gives you commands up here? This is the same thing that this tool is really all you need, right? There you go, length. Look, I can even clickety-click on it. Now, so that is that length, except it's divided by 2. And my command was taking an accidental picture. I gotta figure out how to turn that off. Okay, so that's the length right there. You see, notice another thing that's nice if your cursor's on one side, near this, it's showing you the other side. So this is between these braces or parentheses, I guess. This is what you're passing to this function. So, you know, coding is just about a bunch of functions, really. And that was the captain speaking, or the conductor. There you go, A6. So A6 was what I had seen before, right? Again, I'm just hitting up arrow. Oh no, this one says A7. Why does this say A7 but the other said A6? Maybe it had a extra character in it. I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to just leave it at A6. So, but I can work backwards, right? So A6. Is, let's see. Turn that off for a minute. Guy's talking up a storm. So now I just need to make sure that I'm putting the right number into here. I think I'm just gonna go with it. So instead of console log, I'm gonna return. So that means that this function is gonna spit out some stuff that you can send somewhere else. So I'm gonna return my fancy little string, which was bye-bye. Oh no. See, here's the OX, right? So the OX comes back, and then I say bye-bye. And I want plus the X, of course. So I've got to figure out the numbers. A6 also needs to get padded. Looks like, hold on. Yeah, okay, I was almost working on the wrong thing. So I got the length here. And I'm gonna say pad starts. It's rather nice. It gives you a lot of helpers. Let's start. There you go. So I got some zeros in front of A6. Here's your and you know, I say this periodically. I know that I'm not like a normal college professor or something. I know that this seems random and it's not making a lot of, maybe not making a lot of sense. All I can say is if you just relax, just chill out, watch the train. You know, you can watch these over and over again. You can stop. You can go back. You can just let it just let it be. Let it waft over you. Keep moving forward. You can do all sorts of little things. Like you can come up with things that you want. Like how do you make a little pop-up happen? Well, turns out there's a command called an alert, right? There you go. See? Pop up there. So you can just learn and play around in this world, right? You can, and you make stuff happen over here. And I know it's been a while since we've looked at that. Let's see. Let's do something. Let's make that maybe train a little bit smaller. Bring this over. And you know, I will say if like if somebody's gonna pay for a course or you know go to a college class, sometimes I think it's almost easier to figure out your stuff yourself, especially if you see how other people do things. You can just copy other people and learn their bad habits or their good habits or whatever. But you know, ultimately, you just have to play with it yourself. So, next thing I really want to do is say, okay, so not only do I need to pad this, which I succeeded in doing, I need to pad this section so that all the sections line up. I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing that, other than that is visually it's going to create a division that's helpful, and I am mimicking the way that a smart contract is going to deal with this level of data. So that's what smart contracts do. I guess to and what I'm saying I'm gonna do here is Say okay. Length is A6. Part of this is I don't think in hex. I think in decimal, right? So if I say right, that's basically what we've got. Except I forgot my utils, F-utils. Okay. Interesting. Why does it still have that X there? Oh, I see. I see what happened. I want to put that. I want to apply that to the output. So. Okay, so from here, I want to say length. If length was 332, so I'm saying length divided by 2 is 116. So that's how many characters. And length divided by 32 characters in a line. So we're at we're at over 10 lines. So then the question is, and this is fairly simple math, but you gotta kind of think about it. So I'm trying to you just have to solve these little problems, right? Like the problem I'm trying to solve right now is I have some string of characters, and let's see how long that is. 15. Okay. Just make it nice and even. Okay. So this is the 14 characters, right? Now, I want to pad this out to 32 characters. So, can I say pad end? Yeah. And really, okay, so if we're saying this is 10 lines, right, we have 10 lines now. Because again, we're padding to these little 32-bit, chunks. We have 10 lines now. We're going to end up with 11, and 11 times 32. So, can I just say this? Of course, yeah, see that's so if this was much longer, you know, something, right? It would there, whatever. Right? It would pad out further. So maybe that's all I need to say is pad end 11 times 32, but I have to figure out 11 first. So, and I did this, see, I did this all right from the shell because I'm thinking, or from this is my new workspace. So I'm just thinking with ideas, thinking of how to solve this. And I can even kind of grab my little snippet here, right? It's just pad end. So if I come back into my function now that I'm working on, that's my function. And I know that it happens to be 11 right now, but I'm not going to always, it's not going to always be 11. It's going to be some other number. That's the beginning part, plus plus hex dot substring 2. About that. And it looks like I'm just sending it to the console log. That's the beginning and the end of pad end. Gotta remove that. There you go. See, so now when I put this in, these two are here together. And so if we run, kind of crazy tests. If we run our new command, okay, so we're getting there. See, so it starts out OX, Baba, OOA6, so you know that this first part, and A6 is going to be the length, or in times, the length, the number of these is A6 times 2, A6 being in hex. And then you have some padding at the end. And that should be it. So this is kind of how I work. And that's probably a good place to. That's probably a good place to stop for now. It's just like I say, just a view into my process. You guys have a good day.